Hey, it's Juice from Juice and Pop's Happy Hour bringing you After Hours. We just did our sixth podcast on Sunday, and it was a lot of fun. We finally got some questions that we got to answer in the cigar section. I guess we're going to call it the Blow and Smoke segment. And it was great. We had a couple old friends of ours get a hold of us, and they're new to cigars, brand new to cigars, don't know where to even start with them. So we got to talk a little bit about where to begin your search for good cigars, what to look for, what not to look for, things like that. And it was a lot of fun because when we first started this podcast, it was mainly going to be about cigars. Well, it didn't really end up that way once we started doing the podcast. The comic book section took up a huge chunk of time, and cigars were just kind of an afterthought, even though we intentionally started this podcast for cigars. And the main reason for that is just because me and him have Plop. We have a lot of the same taste in cigars and the same likes and dislikes of them. And it's kind of hard to have a dialogue like that. It's just basically, yeah, this cigar's good. Yeah, it's good. And that's all it would be. So by getting questions from people asking about cigars and stuff like that, it makes us actually, have a dialogue about them. And it's really nice to talk about cigars that I prefer or cigars that Plop prefers. It's pretty nice to get that out there, especially for people that don't know what they're looking for in cigars. Because if you're new to the cigar world, it can be very overwhelming. And I said in the podcast, I've been doing this since I was 18. I got 8 years on it. Plop has been doing it for I think a couple years, and he really just started getting into cigars as a lifestyle, not really a hobby, but cigars are more of a lifestyle. And he's just really started hitting that up probably 6 months ago or so. And already he's moving up there. You should see his collection. It's outrageous. It's crazy. I wish I had the money to spend on it, but once I get through school, game on. Um, but yeah, we got to answer a bunch of good questions. Make sure you check it out. If not for the comic book section, since we do talk about that, um, check out the beginning of our podcast for cigar related information. And it's really good. So, on to the after hours, where I quickly review, as quick as I can, the podcast we just did. Um, the cigar we had was the Gloria. Man, I can't remember the name of it. It's a mouthful. The Gloria Artesanos Gloria Artesanos Retro Especiale. La Gloria Artesanos Retro Especiale. Um, this cigar didn't really have high hopes for. Um, it was just ugly. It was a mangy looking cigar. It had tobacco coming out the end. It had hard spots, a couple soft spots. It was very lumpy. It was toothy, but once we got into it, the pre-lit aroma of it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Plop thinks he's a little bit stuffed up, so he couldn't get what I was getting, but you get that like a wet soil kind of smell to it, almost like a bouquet of flowers. That's what it smelled like. Um, it was awesome. And I really like that. And the pre-lit draw on it, just, hints of tobacco, nothing super strong, nothing like that. We got lit up, started puffing on it. And mind you, I'm a huge fan of just the guillotine cut, just a straight guillotine cut. Plop, for his birthday, got a punch. So he's been loving that punch cut. And I decided, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll give it a shot. I don't really like different types of cuts. I just like to straight, cut off the cap of the cigar and smoke it because it just allows a lot more volume and air and all that good stuff. But I decided, I'll try the punch cut. So I tried it, and at first it was real hard. The draw was real stiff, but it ended up opening up after we got about half an inch into the cigar. It really opened up, and the cigar was just fabulous. It was awesome. The flavor of it, you just have to listen to our podcast to figure out how we described it. It was just it had a real nice tobacco flavor. It wasn't harsh. It was like a full-bodied tobacco flavor. Just this underlying flavor that we couldn't really expound upon. We couldn't really define. It was like a very mellow, almost sweet coating that you would get. And I'm just going to go ahead and in the description of the cigar, it says it has a rustic, earthy taste to it. I'm guessing that's what that was, because I can taste wood and I can taste earth and all that good stuff in a cigar, but this flavor was just something different I never really had. It was almost like a metallic taste, but it wasn't metal. It was odd, but it was good. It was very good. It gave a nice, cool kind of feeling to the cigar. The smoke output on it was, pretty good. It was just the taste of it was just it was up there. The taste was up there with some of the best cigars I've ever had. And then we get to about the halfway point in the cigar, and things just go downhill. First of all, I had to actually cut my cigar with a guillotine cutter, just because there's a tar building up in that little punch cutter hole. There was tar buildup, and I just wasn't getting any air through, and the cigar kept going out, I had to keep relighting it, yada yada yada. And I finally opened it up, and it smoked wonderfully for about 15 minutes. Plop actually took the end of a used match I had to dig out tar, and that's just disgusting. It leaves a very bitter taste in your mouth. So I don't know what to think about the cigar. It's ugly. If you enjoy the first, third of cigar, this cigar is great. We ended up giving it a 5 out of 10, mainly just because how we based it on looks. It got super low scores from us. But despite its scoring, I would say try this cigar. Really do try it at least once, because the flavor of it was good. It was very, very good. It just went downhill, and we were so disappointed in it. So even though the score is the lowest score we've given the cigar so far, I would say at least try it, because it has the potential to be an excellent cigar. I don't know if we just got bad sticks or something, or if that lot they made was bad, but I would say try it. That was the Gloria Artesanos Retro Especiale. We gave it a 5 out of 10, with a little asterisk that try this cigar. So moving on, we did our comic reviews, and Pick of the Week ended up being Swamp Thing, number 6. Awesome comic, one of the best in the new relaunches, or out of the DC relaunch. Is one of the top titles. I believe, and Plop believes, and a couple other people I've talked to just love this title so far. And pick it up and find out why. So I did the reviews on the comics during the podcast, so I'll get on with my own selection of comics that I do. And I don't know how much time I'm going to be spending on these, because some of them are kind of forgettable, some of them are really good. So I guess I'll get started. Red Lantern number 6. Finally have a human Red Lantern. I was actually going to drop this title back at number 4 or 5, but it just reeled me in, and things are really starting to pick up now, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying Green Lantern, New Guardians, and Red Lanterns. This is probably the weakest one out of the bunch, but things are moving along. We got Atrocitus and Bleeze. They're fighting. The other members of the Red Lantern Corps are backing up Bleeze, and Atrocitus isn't liking it. We finally get, I can't remember his name, we call him Rancor. He finally becomes a Red Lantern and is avenging the death of his brother, who was killed by cops. So things are really picking up. The body of Corona is still missing. Not sure what the deal is with that or anything, but you know, the action really started picking up at number 5, and it continues through number 6. And so far, I haven't dropped it, so it's worth picking up. I gotta find a place to put this. My desk right here is so full of all my wife's fingernail polish and Post-its. There we go. That'll work. All right. Winter Soldier number 1. I got this. I just happened to pick it up just out of the blue. I happened to see it sitting there, and I was like, Bucky, I'll try it. You know, I haven't really read a lot of things with Bucky on it, even though, you know, you see my hat. Not the biggest Captain America fan, but I knew this wasn't going to be a Captain America, you know, whatever. He wasn't going to be Captain America in this. I knew it was going to be Bucky, Winter Soldier. Picked it up. I was pleasantly surprised. It's really not my type of comic I like, that whole World War II kind of thing, you know, it's whatever. I love World War II and stuff, but, you know, it's just not that kind of comic. It kind of reminds me of like almost a detective Dick Tracy kind of thing. But, yeah, it was pretty good. I can't remember when it's set. It's sometime after the Cold War. I don't know if it's modern time or not. But Bucky, so far, the Winter Soldier, is on America's side, which I don't know if it's going to stay that way or not, just because of the whole thing about the Russians keeping so-called secret weapons, like Bucky was, the Winter Soldier, when he was under mind control of the Russians. They talk about in this comic where they keep them in these, I forget what they call them, some type of tubes where they only bring them to a waking state when they need stuff done. And they keep talking about how one spy in a certain place can be more detrimental to a nation than a whole army can. So I don't know if Bucky is still under mind control or not. They haven't said or anything like that, but so far, him and Black Widow are partners for America. And I think I'll keep picking this up just because, why not? Nothing else to do in my free time. Infestation. I completely forgot about this coming out, and I happened to see it on the rack, so I picked it up just because, again, why not? Yeah, it was okay. If I would have known about it before I got it, what was going to be in it, I probably would have just skipped it. I'm just more interested in the whole Ninja Turtle infestation thing going on, and I'm not sure how they're going to do all this or not. I wonder if it's going to be like a fear itself. That's what I'm guessing it's going to be. But in this issue, I can't tell you really anything about it because the people I read about, I have no idea who they are. There's some guy called, the vampires. There's like 3 vampires, 2 guys and a girl, and they're fighting this evil blob-looking thing with a bunch of eyes that gets bigger anytime you hit it or touch it. And the things that are possessing people are called what demons are scared of. They're the things that demons are scared of. So whatever, I pass on it. I'll probably only look for the turtles coming out. Next one's like Transformers and Infestation or something. So whatever, I'll wait for the turtles. Uncanny X-Men. This is a good series right here. Was it number 6? Yeah. Number 6. We got the Immortal Man right there. Last issue, Magneto and Psylocke find a race of beings that think that they are gods or goddesses, and the Immortal comes back and says no they're not, and starts destroying these people, these little alien race things. And as you move forward in the comic, you find Cyclops gets trapped and the person that traps him is a being that is evolving rapidly. He says he doesn't know if the other members of the X-Men are sentient beings because it took them longer than a week to learn the English language. So I thought that was kind of funny. But, I don't know if any of you out there read C.S. Lewis or anything, but this kind of reminds me of his book, Paralandra. And just because it's almost a different type of world, and it's uh, the beginning of time for him. And in C.S. Lewis' book, he has a man that lands on a planet that has basically an Adam and Eve, and they're trying to connect Adam and Eve together. And this one, it's like the beginning of time, and they're finding out gods and goddesses and science and all that good stuff. So Uncanny X-Men, definitely worth a pick up. Avengers X-Sanction, Cable and the Red Hulk. This is actually turned out to be a pretty good little mini series, especially leading up to the Avengers and X-Men. And here we are. We have Cable that's being taken over by the what do they call it, the technovirus thing, and he's actually being consumed by it. And you can see it throughout the series. He starts off and he has, he's only affected like in his arm and neck, face, and then by the end of this comic, it's like his whole body is infected by it. But he does something to the Red Hulk that helps suppress the virus. Next issue, who's it going to be? Oh, Wolverine, Spider-Man make an entrance, Cyclops make an entrance, Hope makes an entrance, all in this issue, and it's pretty good, especially Red Hulk. He's a straight military man, tactician, and seeing him and Cable go at it, it's pretty cool. So, this is a series worth picking up. It's only, 4 or 5 issues? Only 4 issues, only 1 left. Definitely worth picking up, especially since it's kind of leading into the Avengers and X-Men. So then, last but not least, we have the Defenders. I can't remember really what happened last issue, except for they got captured. And in this issue, they finally come face to face with that creature right there. They call him Null, N-U-L, Null, Newell. They come face with him, and also, I can't remember his name. I want to say his name is John something. Prester, the other Prester. I believe that's it. And they find him, and I don't want to give it away because this comic was actually kind of short. There's not a lot that happened except for the main part of it, if that makes any sense. Not a lot happened, and if I tell you what did happen, it's going to go over the whole comic. So let's just say some things happen. Everything kind of goes as planned, but maybe not for long. So this is another series I kind of just picked up just to see, mainly because of the She-Hulk, the Red She-Hulk. I mainly picked it up just for her and Silver Surfer. The other, Namor and Iron Fist and him, I really don't care for. But yeah, definitely worth picking out. That's all I have for now, except for a lot of back issues I picked up, like Batgirl 2 through 4, Supergirl 4 and 5, and a couple Supermans. Word popped. Other than that, make sure you check us out next Sunday. I'll actually be putting up another video hopefully tomorrow. I got a half day at my clinical. Wednesdays are short days for me. Rock on. And I'll be swinging by the comic book store, picking up the comics, and I might just head home at about lunchtime and make another video for our quickie preview of Lucky Number 11. I think there's a chance that we might have someone on the show. Not sure. He's more than welcome to come. It's up to him. So if we get him on there, I'll make sure let everyone know, all 8 or 10 people that watch these videos. Can't tell you what cigar we're having next week. Can't tell you what comics we're doing next week because I don't have any of that information in front of me right now. But as always, it will be good. It will be entertaining. So, until next time, take care.